First of all, I'm going to talk about Bitcoin. Of course, we always have to talk about Bitcoin, but I'm going to also talk about... Oh, can't hear me. Whoops. Testing 1, 2, 3. Whoop. Let me move this in closer. Hang on a sec. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Okay, people can hear me. So false alarm. And I will speak close to this mic. It's a different setup today, so apologies for that. Anyway, I'm going to talk about the battle of the ETH Killers because everybody now, the whole world, is talking about Solana. And Solana is one of those ETH Killers. So I'm going to just jump right in. So math, money, freedom, you guys know the drill. And a disclaimer as well, this is not financial advice. So let's talk quickly about the state of the market right now. So it's very mixed. Bitcoin just took a huge wick down, which is very unusual. It's getting close to one of my limit orders, which is great. But what is important to note here is you have massive strength in Solana, Polkadot pumping at last, and we said it would. And Ethereum was quite strong. It's having a little bit of weakness right now. But again, dark green, as always, we're kind of getting used to that dark green Solana right now. So we're going to talk a bit about what that's all about. But before we go in, there's a couple of things I just want to reiterate because the whole market is always driven by Bitcoin. So it's important we spend a lot of time looking at it. And this tweet is from Dylan Leclerc, and I thought it was very impressive. He basically summed up the situation in February of GBTC was doing a ton of buying. Long-term holders were beginning to sell. The market leverage long with Bitcoin was huge, and there was a 30% annualized futures basis. Now it's different. GBTC, it says no buying, but that could be argued. There is quite a bit of buying, as we saw from Morgan Stanley, but that maybe did what happened back in Q2. Long-term holders are accumulating, especially the smaller players, people with 10 or less Bitcoin. And Bitcoin margin derivatives are increasing. So that is the big difference. But net, it is looking very, very positive for Bitcoin from that perspective. But let's go a little bit deeper. First of all, this is all about adoption. Sorry, some of the comments are popping up here. The network effect of Bitcoin and crypto cannot be ignored. So if you look at crypto users doubling from 200 to 200 million, from 100 million in just 4 months is outstanding. And this is all fueled by Bitcoin, Shiba Inu, and Dogecoin. And it's just, and this is on top of things like El Salvador going live in 8 days. You got Cuba now recognizing crypto by the central bank, and things are just warming up. So just imagine from 100 million to 200 million in a very short window of time. We're going to get to 1 billion users in no time. And it was originally estimated we'll be at 1 billion Bitcoin users by 2025. I think that's going to happen a lot sooner. I think at this rate, we could be there by end of next year even. So let's go a little bit further. Now, this is a interesting model that I pulled from Medium today. A big thank you as well to Sanjay, who sent this to me. But basically, it shows you the trajectory and the lines of where we were, the bounce off 30K, which I've highlighted with the red arrow, and how long we were down there. We were down there for 10, 11 weeks approximately. But if I extrapolate this outwards, we should be back to 64K all-time high by 4 to 6 weeks from now, according to this trajectory model. So that is also very positive. Now, I'm not slinging hopium here. I'm just showing straight numbers now. This is another way of looking at the Bitcoin HODL model. HODL model, I didn't even know that rhymed when I wrote it. But you can see a couple of things here. One, if you look at the total number of people who own Bitcoin less than 1 day, 1 to 7 days, 7 to 30 days, and 30 to 90 days, you will see that 84% of Bitcoin hasn't moved in the 90-day plus region. And some has never moved at all. In a big chunk, more than 5 years, and that's where you have a lot of lost coins. But people over the last 2 or 3 years as well have also lost a lot of lost coins. So this is I thought a very interesting graphic worth sharing, just to really highlight how small what some people call the tourists are, the people that just jumped into Bitcoin. Now let's talk about some support levels. If we do break through 50K, it's been a real struggle lately to get above that 200K level. But according to Glassnode, they believe there are three big areas of support right now. The first range is the $31,000 to $40,000 area. They call this the price floor right now, and we lived there for quite some time. The second range is between $45,000 and $50,000, where there's about 1.651 million Bitcoin. And this is also a new level. This is what we're trying to get out of right now. The dark line there indicates exactly where we are sitting. And then the third range is the $53,000 to $59,000. This is where Glassnode thinks the $1 trillion asset status lies. And they see us getting to this very quickly. And then once we get above the 59K, it's fresh air from there. And it should flip into support as well. So that's the Glassnode on-chain analysis belief, which is positive. Now, another piece of HODLing news, the young Bitcoin supply, this is the one we mentioned, trading less than 90 days, is decreasing very rapidly. So hodlers are hodling more than ever before. And having just 15% of the coins being with short-term hodlers is very impressive. So just imagine for a second the big money comes in and starts accumulating rapidly. And that could happen any day now with Cuba, with El Salvador, with Uruguay, and all these other places coming online. This could really turn around real fast, and there's not a lot of supply left. Now, in addition, if we look at the Ethereum situation, we're going to be talking more about Ethereum today. You can see that the young ETH, the less than 90 days, less than 3 months, whatever you want to call it, is only 12.5% supply. And that's falling much faster than the Bitcoin supply. So that's also extremely positive. So the other piece of news as well, there's a whole bunch of dry powder on the sidelines. So as you guys know, if $100 million goes into Bitcoin, it'll increase the price by $500. We now have $20 billion in dry powder on the sidelines. And for those of you who don't know what this means, basically the stable coin reserve is now at that 19 billion, call it $20 billion mark. And that typical reserve typically means people are waiting to make a big move soon. They have mobilized their assets to be able to jump in. And all these stable coins, again, they're tied to fiat and they're on wallets. And typically, historically, this means it's a metric that investors are waiting to jump in. They're waiting for the right opportunity. Now, a decrease, the corollary is also true, means the opposite. Investors are using their stable coins supply to grab some Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. They can also just be sending their coins to their personal wallets for storage purposes, but again, normally it's a very, very bullish sign. So let's talk a little bit about Ethereum, and then we talk about the ETH Killers. So as of the August 29th, transaction fees for the Ethereum miners have matched kind of previous levels almost. There was a big drop after EIP1559 due to burning, but what this really does emphasize is the amount of use and activity on the network. And people say, oh yeah, Ethereum fees are extremely high and it's not scaling and everything else. But the problem is there is a huge volume, huge activity, and it's all driven by this NFT craze. So massive, massive volumes are being traded on NFT marketplaces, which are all Ethereum based. So net, it's good for the miners. They didn't lose anything, as it turns out, as they expected they would. So EIP 1559 is working. A little bit on some NFTs as well. This just gives you an idea of the type of volume being traded. Just in August alone, it has gone up 30, 50x real fast. And the average prices are also extremely high. If you look at the average prices for CryptoPunks compared to the volume, the CryptoPunk average sale price is nearly $500,000. And the volume is also off the charts. So net, all very, very positive. So let's talk a bit about the Ethereum killers and what's going on. Basically, Ethereum gas fees have skyrocketed. And is it the season of the ETH killers? And as you know, we are looking very heavily on finding the next ETH killer. A huge part of my thesis back in May about Solana was that it is the number one ETH killer from my perspective back then, and still remains so. But we'll talk about exactly what this is triggering. So we are looking into all of the ETH killers, and it's a very crowded space. You've got your Binance, your Solanas, Polkadots, Cardanos, Avalanches, Polygons, Terras, Cosmos, Tezos, Flow, Near Protocol, Algorand, Elrond, etc. You'll see that we are in positions with Algorand, which we're looking to probably get out of right now. Polygon as well has been very slow, but Avalanche did perform very well. They're doing a 5x in a very short window of time in just 30 days. And Solana, as you guys all know, has just been completely on fire. So that is where we are right now. But it's going to be interesting to pull out who, based on metrics and quant data, the winner of this race will be. Now, talking about Cardano, one of the ones that many believe is the next ETH killer. Basically, they're in the final stage. We are 12, 13 days away from Alonzo Purple next month. And the key thing here, really, when we look at Alonzo Purple, is, of course, their smart contracts capability. And the network will be carrying lower fees than Ethereum. So that should give, if the Ethereum fee issue continues, that should give Cardano a big leg up as they go forward. And users should be able to do the same activities on the Cardano that they could do in Ethereum, but for a lower price. And hopefully it'll scale faster and everything else. We'll wait and see. Now, in other players' news, this was kind of interesting. Charles pinging the Solana guys. Solana, you guys seem to be making waves. Congratulations. Where can I learn more? I don't know if he's being sarcastic or playing games. He does have a sense of humor, which I covered before, and I respect him very much for that. But I don't know if he's prodding the Solana guys or he has the utmost confidence in his platform being not only an ETH killer, but also a Solana killer. So the next 12 to 15 days will be super interesting to follow. Now, the other thing that's happening is this article came out today, and it was all about, okay, this is the new mountaintop. So you have Ethereum being the mountain, and then the three big competitors, the main competitors that they see, being Cardano, Solana, and Polkadot. But Solana is considering, for many, to be the winner so far. It's less than, I think, just over 12 months since its launch in 2020. I think it was March 2020. And the token has made its way into the top 10 cryptos so fast. It's been mind-blowing, and it continues to be strong. Market cap, though, is still very small when you compare it to the heavy hitters like Ethereum and Cardano. So that's why we're super interested in finding out exactly what's all of this is made up of. So we are running through a very interesting analysis, which we'll share with you real soon. Now, a little bit more on stablecoins as well. This was another interesting piece. Center, the consortium that is behind USDC and working closely with Coinbase and others, they put together a team of executives, and their focus is to create a global network of stablecoins as they go forward. So we'll see where this comes, but hopefully they wouldn't be doing this if there wasn't going to be a ton of regulatory scrutiny coming down the pike. So this should expand and be very good for stable coins in the future. Again, this is not going to come without a lot of resistance. The IMF is probably freaking out now because the last thing they want to see is a whole bunch of stable coins. But if stable coins are tied in with central bank systems, who knows, maybe it could work. And I'm sure these guys can figure that out as well. So in other little bit of brief news, AMP token and DeFi dangers. Again, to stress, yes, I'm a huge believer in DeFi, but it is the Wild West out there. And this is another case of a flash loan attack with Cream Finance. They use the AMP token, and needless to say, somebody lost $18-19 million. So the real question is, will regulators go after these types of issues first? Their focus is really to make the world a safer place for investors. So we'll see. And another bit of NFT news, we now have some NFTs. Half of any money that's made will go to children's hospitals, or the person that buys each unique NFT will be able to dictate the charity of their choice if they are in touch with us. And the rest of the money goes towards the channel, research, and our graphics team and everything else. Nothing for me. We do this to give back, make the world a better place. And currently they're on OpenSea, but we will be also launching these on hopefully a Solana blockchain real soon too. So that's it. I'm going to open up to a little bit of Q&A, and hope everybody is doing awesome. And sorry for being a little bit later than usual, but I'm moving a little bit slower than usual today. So let me see where the questions are. There we are. And it's good to be here and see everybody. So the first question, bonsai tree. I have a dream of owning a lakefront on Lake Tahoe, but it's too pricey. Have you come across hidden gem of a lake with cabins, reasonable dollars? Well, it's kind of interesting because Tahoe's on fire right now and has been for quite a bunch of the season, bonsai tree. There can be deals, but the real estate up here is very, very expensive, particularly on the Nevada side. California side's a little bit cheaper. You can definitely find a place. It won't be on a lake, but it'll be close to a lake. So yeah, maybe with your crypto millions, you'll be able to get one for sure. Bring back the farm. Your opinion of SNX is good, bad, or okay? It is okay, erring to the side of bad, I'm afraid. Bring them back to the farm. We had a look at it and it didn't get our muster. Now, when we run things through our crypto compendium, just because it doesn't score well doesn't mean it won't rise up in the market. So I want that to be very clear, but it just means it doesn't qualify to be something that we'd look at because we're very interested in tokenomics and regulatory risk and all that type of stuff, inflation, amount in circulation, and those types of factors. So GWASH, has your link price prediction changed since you made your video? Higher or lower? I actually have been looking at all my price prediction models again, and everything is changing. So when we look at Chainlink and their domination of the space and their trustedness, as far as I'm concerned, nothing has changed. If anything, there's been more adoption of this whole space and more need for an oracle like Chainlink. There are, however, new upcoming oracles that are going to be tied closer to the Cardano network and Solana network, etc. So they may eat a little bit of the market share away from what would have otherwise been Chainlink, but I still think the world is so big and the growth is so incredible. Nobody could have ever foreseen it growing this fast. At least I didn't. So nothing has changed there on Chainlink GWASH for now, but it is an area that's actually lagging. Let me see. I know we had a huge dip in the market, so Ethereum nearly gave back all of its gains very quickly. And let's have a quick look at Chainlink while you're on the line. Again, weak as ever, extremely volatile. And I don't know, there's just a few bunches of spaces. Right now, I think the ETH Killers space, the smart contract platforms, they're getting all the money from what I can see right now. And we'll see. But Chainlink did come up from $13.80 to $30. Definitely, I see it hitting $40 in the near term. So that's what I see. Again, if this bull run continues, which I believe it will. Craig Martinez, would you replace Polkadot for Solana? Polkadot is one of those ones right now. So what we're trying to dig into is all these smart contract platforms. How much market is there, and how much can these other lagging platforms pump? It was surprising to see so much strength today across many different platforms, but Cardano was red. Polkadot actually did very well. So let me have a quick look at where it is right now. It probably gave a lot of the gains back from today. Yeah, it did. But that's kind of to be expected. But I still think it is a force to be reckoned with. Wow, Polkadot went from $24 to $27.50 today. It gave half it back, but it's moving back up. So I'm still holding Polkadot. I'm still very positive about it. The team behind it, their technology. But this space is getting more and more competitive. That's why we're going to do a deep dive into all of the smart contracts platforms and try to identify the next winners. And there's a couple out there that are very small micro cap plays that could have a chance as well. You know, identifying Solana in March 2020 would have been life-changing for many. So that's what we're looking for. Let me see. SGB 4622. Thank you for using your talents to help the world. Are there any charitable causes you've considered for raising money for? I don't know. We got the NFT suggestion from the Patreon community to do something like that. And they're the ones that suggested use some of my quotes, my lines, and create NFTs out of them. So we're doing that. We'll see where it goes. Maybe something may sell, something may sell, but our whole thing, the whole premise of this channel is to help people find financial freedom, and we're doing that every day. So mission is happening. Still a long way to go. Like it's not hard to make mind-blowing money in this asymmetric bet of our lifetimes, which we're facing right now. So we'll see. But yeah, the mission for us is to give back as much as we can, and we listen to the community intently. So whatever is the most important thing, we're looking at things like human trafficking, protecting the weak and innocent, protecting the environment, protecting animals in need, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on and on. There's a lot of people in need right now. I wish we could airdrop money into a place like Afghanistan and help people get out if at all possible. So, and send in your suggestions. We are all ears all the time. ContraCoop, thoughts on EOS, OG, the EOS. Yeah, again, it is very, very oversold, but the problem we have with these OG ETH killers is they are original and their technology is original. And there was a lot of promises made from that platform and it didn't really come true. So right now, let's have a quick look at where it stands. But I know that we're going to look at all of them and we'll see exactly where it came up. But EOS is not something that is on our radar or we consider investable right now. Yeah, the compendium score was okay, but it has other issues that I think that need to be overcome. So we'll see. Let me see. N31. Have you had a chance to look at ALBT yet? We are looking at so much stuff. ALBT. Alliance Block. Nope. It's ranked number 270. We are focusing on other things first, but how come I don't have an asterisk beside it? Because that's what I did promise that what I would do. So I'm going to put that in there. All right. So we will definitely have a dig. Thank you so much. But there's just so much activities. The community, content creation, research is just, it's hard to look at everything. So apologies for that. Michael Clements, August 28th, lowest Bitcoin and ETH trading volume in how long? Thoughts? Yeah, a little bit concerned about the volume, but looking at the volume very carefully lately because it has been dropping off. But as far as I'm concerned, Bitcoin is just crazy, crazy low, and I don't know if this is manipulation. It has all the earmarks of it because if you look at the huge spike in volume now, what they're doing is they're waiting for low volume periods to pounce, and there they have it. So this is what they do, and this is when they get most bang for their buck. So I think this is all manipulation. This is going to be the last hurrah before the big money comes in, and they have to do it before things like El Salvador and Cuba, because these central banks need to start accumulating Bitcoin. So for me, though, seeing Bitcoin 46.7 is a I didn't think, I thought maybe we'd go down to 45, but we'll see. I'll be monitoring this very carefully and let you know. But this huge spike in volume now means they're cascading stop losses and margined investors and wiping them out. And then they're going to execute their short positions and buy in again and go long. So the usual story. Master Block Warrior, Andreessen Horowitz has also invested in ICP. What do they see? Also, could they share how Wink, number 127, fared in the compendium? Yeah, ICP I don't get. I mean, for that it has rebounded quite a bit, but tanked again today. For the original investors to lose 95% of their investment, and it just looked like a complete rug pull from day one, is shocking. Know that Andreessen was in, but they're in everything that they believe is promising. And ICP, I think, is just way ahead of its time for right now. So their vision is too big and too grand to be able to pull it off. And in terms of Wink, Wink is as yet completely unrated. So now we'll see. Basically, I hate to say this, but 95% of the time, people ask us to look into things. It's very rare they're really good, but we do look as well. So I'll have a look. And if something comes out from Wink, we will check it out. Ranked number 130, according to our numbers. So thank you. And Broke Bank Vegan, good to see you again. Hope everything's good down there. We have some money in silver bullion and in our 20s. Is there a better asset for us other than crypto? We already heavily invested in. I'd say, yeah, transformational stocks, very disruptive stocks would be a good place to be. It's also safe. There's even some stocks that are just not necessarily transformational, but extremely strong for the future. Like I wish Google was cheaper for people to get in, because I keep talking about things like Google and Tesla, and now Amazon, if it gets down to 3,000, but that would be a very strong day today. I go and identify those. If you are already very heavy in crypto, you're doing the right thing to think about diversifying. And silver is manipulated. I said to myself, silver at $23.50 is crazy. It's a no-brainer. But I didn't buy because it kept on tanking, kept on going down. So it's one of those ones that is quite amazing because it does have industrial use and it's just so weak. It's still $23. I had a little bounce today. I've hit 22 a few days ago, so I don't get it. Gold and silver are just so weak. But I think people are giving up and they're moving towards digital assets for sure. Maharani, what are your current thoughts on Matic given the sideways action, even though ETH recently rose 2020 high and bear market low? So let me pull up to my Matic. I've been looking at all my price models as well and seeing, like, some of them have already hit, like Aave, Solana, of course, Avalanche. They all hit my kind of price predictions, my base cases. But Matic has just been a dog. It's only up 26%. It's the worst performing crypto of the retire on crypto portfolio, which is kind of shocking. I still have let me see, Matic target, $2.98, but it's at $1.34 now, so I believe it could still hit that. So a little more than a double, and it hasn't changed. I think it's just the ETH killers now are getting all the attention, getting all the money. Everybody's really waking up to this whole Solana thing. Nobody was looking at it 3 or 4 months ago. Now the whole world is looking at it, and it's being also picked up by institutional investors. So we'll see what happens. But I think there could be trickle down to some of the other players, and we're digging into that right now. So stay tuned. You'll get a good update real soon. Let me see. Snow. What does the compendium say about ICX? Let me see. It doesn't ring a bell, so I didn't go deep into it. And it is literally middle of the road, actually. It's not too bad. Icon, ICX. I'm going to have a deeper look at that because the initial cut, we're doing everything in 3 phases. Cut number 1 is qualify or kill. Cut number 2 is do all the quant analysis. And cut number 3 is a deep dive. But there's a lot of things in the pipe before we get to that. And I know everybody wants this, should I buy analysis, but they take a long time. So we're trying to find a way to scale and cut through the chafe as quickly as possible. Craig Musman, understanding that the whales are apparently buying up truckloads of BTC quickly and that supply is dwindling. Why is there still price stagnation? It's the only explanation I have, Craig, is manipulation. And I think, anybody you talk to, even people that hate Bitcoin are saying it's going to 100,000. So the fact that it's so low is great because it gives people a chance to load up. And we're minting whole coiners every day in the community, which is awesome. So even Plan B came out today, banged his fist on the table. December will be north of $100,000. So that's all positive, and all the indicators are positive. The only thing that's weak, which a previous reader did say, is the volume is weak. But that's when the whales strike. Low volume, they jump in, and it's much easier for them to manipulate. So we'll see what's happening. But it could be, I would love, my original limit on Bitcoin was 42, but I think now at 45 it's a good buy. So I wouldn't mind a little bit of weakness, because that's what you need as well. You need this weakness to really attract and tease in all the buyers. So fingers crossed on that, Craig. N31, would you say it makes sense for an 18-year-old to have the majority of their portfolio in ETH compared to BTC? Also, what time will the potential Patreon restock be on the first? I'll do the last question first regarding Patreon. I don't know. I don't even know when the Patreon system restocks or when things renew. I know they're a California company based in San Francisco here, so I think it'll probably be Pacific time on the 1st, like the turn of the clock from midnight. And in terms of 18-year-old, you have time in your hands. If you're invested so early, it's a fantastic thing to see, because time in the market is worth more than anything. Ethereum, I think, is a very, very safe bet. Bitcoin will 2x from here. Ethereum will 3x. So just be careful of your timing, because it is more volatile and it'll have bigger downdraft. But then again, what we're really trying to get to a handle on is, one, how big this whole smart contract market is and how much of a moat Ethereum has. Because from our first analysis, it's very strong. Their network effect is very strong. But now with the rage in NFTs, if that starts moving to different platforms that aren't Ethereum based, like Solana, that could be a big change, or Cardano when they come to the market. So it'll be very interesting to watch. So we'll keep tabs on that. But it was very nice to see the big bounce in Ethereum today, but sad to see it give most of it back. But it's a good sign, because that means it's going to go right back there tomorrow. What's happening now is, because Bitcoin has weakness, everything else follows it down. It just rattles the short-term investors. Paul A, do you see any red flags for Phaeton? Let me see. I know it is one of the things that is supposedly coming. You can't buy it yet, I think. But it seems like the people that are covering it seem like they may have an agenda, which is a red flag. Plus, it might be a little bit late to the party for them to get it out there. So I'm not too sure, Paul. It's one I'm keeping an eye on, because there was some positive technical papers written about it, which got my interest. It was like there's 2 smart contracts platforms, but there's actually 20. So it's just such a crowded space right now. But, the winner will take all. The platform with the most decentralization, the most security, the most scalability, the most transactions per second, the lowest fees, the easiest to configure. These are the factors that will drive the adoption of the next generation smart contract platform. And thank you for your donation as well. Michael Shane, Chadwick, you're so kind. Caligula, NFT suggestion. Saul, I told you so. Yeah. Jeeves, sending more peppermint your way. Thank you. A young dev, can't wait to join. Can't wait to join your membership. Yeah. Pi 3.14 and PR and Jeff Hamburg. Thank you so much. And please announce the questions or speak slower. I will. Michael Shane, longtime listener. If I borrow in Celsius and stake in stablecoin to buy dips, can you build the best model to grow portfolio and not get liquidated? Well, rule number 1 of investing is never borrow to speculate. But I actually had a big surprise. I have 8 different exchanges, and I used one called Voyager, and I'm not plugging or shilling, but I didn't realize the crypto I had there was getting interest on it. Like Polkadot was paying 12%. So my Polkadot bag over the last 4 or 5 months really grew. 6 grand. So same with my Cardano bag, where I have it, and Avalanche is there, and a few others. Aave is there, and it was just shocking to me how much it did grow. So what I like is, instead of borrowing stake in a stable coin, it's good to maybe move money around on select cryptos that haven't bounced yet and get good return. That could be more powerful than stable coins. But we'll see. Like if you're getting out of a stable coin, it might make sense to go to a different exchange and get better yield on a crypto. But you also have to make sure is the more yield is paid on something, the higher the risk. And there's always a catch. So if you are getting 12% on Polkadot, you got to ask yourself why. I didn't even realize I was getting it. I was just that busy. But it was very shocking to see the growth in the Cardano and Polkadot bags. So anyway, Nick Bedford had a good feel about Solana. My cost base is 37. Great stuff. Nick, well done. A lot of people got on that train. And in fact, let's check and see what Solana is doing, because I haven't looked at it since I got in here. So, and we're about to flip. We just flipped into the new day. And Solana is $110. And I hit 116 today. So it's mind-blowing. Like when your cost basis is 20 and crypto goes up $20 in 24 hours, you know, a month or two after you bought it is just ridiculous that you can make 100% on your money in a day. This is not the way the equity market works, and that's why it's such a fascinating time. Infinite Ecos. If I am in some poor positions, slow horses that are in the red, thoughts on ditching and taking a substantial loss to jump into better coins? Always. I covered that actually on the weekend's Q&A video. Went into a little bit of the philosophy of how you need to rewire your brain to get rid of losers, and also some of the mental challenges that come with that. Is humans basically don't like admitting they're wrong, and they don't want to make a loss on any investment, and that prevents people from ditching losers. So check out that video yesterday. The timestamps are up to date, and find that section, and it'll be a good lesson for everybody. And we're also trying to work on a model which will help automate a lot of that decision-making process, to look at your portfolio, identify how to exit, and where to re-enter the money into different areas. So we're trying to figure that out, because people really need that tool. It's very difficult without a decision-making system to make that decision yourself. Keenan Matthews, you say we a lot. You'll introduce your team one day? Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people behind this. We have graphics people and Dr. Watson. People contribute behind the scenes, like Sanjay sends me articles and stuff like that. So I see this as a community. We're all one team. I did start out on my own a lot, but there's a whole bunch of people. There's moderators, and there's people like Kiwi Robin and Mike in New York and everybody else. So it's just everybody kind of gives back, and that's what makes it very powerful. And it's been mind-blowing for me how good everybody is. So yes, and it's never good to say I. There's no I in team. We're all one team. So Max Alto, what do you make of the chatter of the multi-platform future? Is ETH not enough? And Solana is likely a next big platform. Yeah, so multi-chain, open platforms is definitely the way this is going. All protocols will die if they're not open. And that's why I said a few minutes ago, the future of, say smart contracts platforms is really a function of how they will all work together. And people will move seamlessly from one to the other based on performance and cost. There'll be no more locking yourself into one protocol. So that's the vision for the future. And that's one of the reasons I like Polkadot, because they're going to be truly multi-chain capable, and already are, and other areas. So that's what I see as being a big part of the future. Darnell Parker, I got your question over the weekend. Great question. What are the 3 projects you're vetting? Aha! So we have the names. We don't want to share, because if we share, what's happening now is people are watching this channel and they're going to create content. They're going to jump the gun. So we're going to wait till we are through looking at these 3 projects, and then we will share that. But I didn't realize, but sometimes I'll say, I'm going to do a video on this on Thursday, and somebody else will come out and do it on Wednesday and jump the gun. It's like, ugh. And then my video looks redundant, or I look like I'm copying somebody else. So I've got to watch that. But great question, and trust me, there's more than 3 now, which makes it even more interesting. And good for remembering 3. That changed today. Ken Candelas, forgive me if you talked about this already, but your thoughts on Nervos, CKB, or Ergo? So typically, if I haven't invested in something and I've looked at the top 100, Ergo actually looks really good in the compendium. Score. Uh, it's half rated, but it has a lot of positives, a little bit of high inflation, etc. But Ergo is looking good, and we've dug into that. And Nervos always makes me nervous. Get the joke. Nervous did not score well at all. So that's a nix out of the gate. But Ergo, good. Ken, hope that helps you. That's not, Ergo is not one in the ones we're looking at next, however. El Cid, good to see you again. Have you noticed Grayscale ETH trading at temporary premium? I did. I heard it flipped. Somebody mentioned it did, but that shows you the network effect of Ethereum. And people are onto it. And I know it gets so much bad press. People say, oh, the gas fees are so high. Ethereum is so crap. It's like, it's so high because everybody's doing everything on Ethereum. You know, you got stable coins and you got NFTs and DeFi stuff. It's just, everything's going bonkers. And that's why, you know, that machine is just being hit and growing like that. And as a result, it is choking. That's why ETH 2.0 is so necessary. So we'll see. Anyway, this whole world is so big for many players, it doesn't have to just be ETH. Jacob Gentry, if I have 0.9 BTC, how much more would I need to spend in fiat to have one whole coin? Right now, it's about $4,600, but I'm not sure what you mean. If I have 0.09, you see how much more would I need to spend in fiat to have one? I mean, how much more fiat would you need to spend to fill it? It's like $4,600. You have it right now. So I know that sounds like a lot, 0.1 of a Bitcoin, but in the future it'll be very big. And Solana went up another $1. Whoops. Let's check on Bitcoin if it's stopped its bleed. It has. It parked down at the 46.8 level. So you need about $46,000 or $4,600 to get your whole coin. And good job for having so much already. Nav, other than AR, what are your other two you liked? Yeah, and AR was on fire today. We are digging into those. And again, Nav, until we're finished, I'm not going to release the names because we don't want others to see. So, but thank you for the question. Philip, trade Matic for Sol or DOT or HODL? I like DOT. I'm holding DOT. Reconsidering Algorand right now. And Matic, I think, is definitely, yeah, I'd even consider Matic for DOT. That should run, and I expect, you know, this whole space, the smart contract platform space, to really go high. So we're trying to help identify the next smart contract winners. And that's tied to the previous question that I couldn't answer what these are. So stay tuned for that. Jose Morales, Ox or ZRX tokenomics. I think I looked at Ox the other day and it was not good. And hang on a second. Oxygen. Let me see. Maybe it's ZRX, and I don't have Ox at all. ZRX, actually, yes, Ox ZRX, same one, sorry. I searched by symbol. Yes, very good on ZRX compared to its peers, I should say. So, Jose Morales, very good indeed. Nesquik's back. What is a good exit strategy or price to exit from Polkadot? And besides Engine, do you think Cardano is still a good investment? Ooh, okay. Polkadot, we'll see. Let me check the Polkadot price prediction. I still believe it could go to $129 is my price target for it. We are at 26, 27 now, but I had a very volatile day. But I stick with that. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it looks crazy when you look at that price prediction. It was based on fundamentals. That's why we're doing another assessment of all the smart contract platforms to find out exactly, do these other chains have a chance? And I still remain very bullish on what Polkadot's trying to do. And in terms of Engine, I like Engine, but it's done really well. I got in at $1. It's already engine right now is over $2. And Cardano is still a good investment. The easy way to say is my Solana portfolio is now 11 times the size of my Cardano one. So I've made a much bigger bet on Solana than Cardano. And I have exit plans for Cardano if it gets close to $4. So I hope that helps. I don't want to offend any Cardano fans out there. But that all depends if Alonso knocks it out of the park and they start getting adoption, I will revise my thesis very quickly. So hope that helps. And Randy Brown, want to apply for Celsius loans against my ETH and Bitcoin. Found out the one of the two states they don't lend in New York. Any ideas on platforms in New York? New York is very uncrypto friendly, which is so bizarre considering it used to be the financial center of the universe, and they're turning their back on the biggest transformational time of my lifetime. There are no other lending platforms unless you want to go non-KYC off the grid. Then you could think about that. There's a few of those out there, but you can't do it the conventional way in New York with any platform that I know of. And Kimpatsu 63, bad back pain. Pain is a symptom, not the problem. Find a good physical therapist. Your body's thank you. Yeah, it's a long story, but I smashed my back about 10 years ago on a half pipe snowboarding. And ever since then, it flares up every year or so. But I fell digging up something Sunday morning, and that's what caused it. But thank you so much. And I'll see. It'll be fine in 3 days. I hope. Nav, current Tesla MicroStrategy buy zones, please. Yeah, 650s, both of them. There was a little bit of weakness with MicroStrategy. Let's have a look. Let's see where it is right now. I know Tesla has just been creeping up. People are realizing, it's like, oh, they're looking at the mathematics of the earnings growth of Tesla, and they say, all the people like the Michael Burrys would be like, oh, Tesla's trading at a P at 1,200. It's like, nope. It's trading at a P of 100, and that's going down real fast. So people are going to see all of a sudden that Tesla's a value stock. And that's before you even take into account their energy vision and their battery technology and autonomous play. It's like, there's so much value in that company. It's obscene. And I know people say, oh, you're such an Elon fanboy, like I'm a Solana fanboy. No, I look at data and I follow money. That's it. My dad told me when I was very young, follow the money. It's my latest quote. And then you'll be fine. Look at the numbers, crunch the data, follow the money. So Tesla is 730. It's up $20 today. And it's even up in after hours. And MicroStrategy, that should be weak. That could open tomorrow low, even despite a mixed day, $700. I don't know. I still, even though 700, I can't give financial advice, but even 700, if you know where Bitcoin's going to go, that's going to go far. So my target for MicroStrategy at the end of this bull run is like between $1,100 and $1,300. So take those numbers and do your own research and find your own answer. But it's very good. But then again, once the world realizes what Tesla's actually worth, Tesla's definitely going at $850, $950, maybe even north of $1,000. And the other thing as well, for all the investors out there, once things hit a critical level and go above a certain level, whether it's $1, $10, $100, $1,000, the next leg up is very fast. We saw that once Solana broke $100, straight to 116. I mean, if you rewind, like Thursday, you could have bought Solana at $67. And now it's adding $20 in a day. It's just, anyway, that's the thing about the psychological barriers of money. You all need to remember that. So Nav, hope that helps. Santiago L. From Colombia, how are you? We have 9% annual interest rates for a housing loan. Would you get into that or wait to get gains on crypto and then buy a house? I'm not familiar with the Colombian real estate market, but I know real estate all over the world is going up at the same rate that money is being printed. So that's somewhere between 15% and 40% per year. If you have 9% annual interest rates, your real estate is going up a lot more than that. So this is a transformational time. If you can, it's a shame to lock up all your money that you could otherwise be investing in crypto. just look at the gains that could have been had over the last couple of weeks, couple of months. It's ridiculous. Santiago, I say, I can't give investment advice. Have a look, see if you can get a really, really good deal on a house. I don't know if they do crypto lending down there. Maybe they do. I don't know if Celsius works in Colombia. Perhaps if you have some Bitcoin, you can borrow against it and buy a house with that. That'd be cool. And thanks you for your donation as well. AA, Randy Brown, and also we should sponsor some rhinos. Yes, great idea. We will definitely do that, Randy. Thank you so much for the information. And everybody, appreciate you all being here. Everybody be safe. I've got somebody managing me that cuts me off and everything else. So thank you for that. And a quick look at the market before I do sign off and see if there's anything good going on. Any bargains to be had. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, Avalanche is weak, but we'll see. And Solana's up $1.25. So Polkadot is on the move again upwards. So we'll see. Everybody hang tough. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you all soon.